I want to get into politics about the shutdown with our panel. Bernard Whitman is the CEO of Whitman Insight Strategies and a Democratic pollster, and Joe Watkins, a Republican strategist and an MSNBC political analyst. So if we take a look at the latest Pew polls, gentlemen, you can see that there's plenty of blame to spread around. Americans pointing the finger at Republicans, at the administration, in some cases at both. So, Joe, somebody's got to come out on top here. Make the case for the Republicans. Why them?
Well, Republicans want to do what's right, and they don't want to do what's popular necessarily, but they want to do what's right and what will certainly set the stage for our kids and our grandkids to have a decent shot at a future. And so they're willing to make the tough decisions right now. Remember, in 2010, in that election cycle, voters said that the thing that was most important to them was runaway government spending, out-of-control government spending. Republicans are trying to do something about that. This is a real proposal.
So, Bernard, I want to get your thoughts on this. Republican and Democratic leadership on the Hill does all the partisan griping. They take the hit politically and publicly, and President Obama actually comes out ahead here. Shutdown or no shutdown? Is that the take on this?
Well, you know, Thomas, I think both sides are clearly playing politics, and the problem is the American people are left holding the bag. 4 in 5 Americans want the parties to come together, to compromise, to reach a deal, to avoid a government shutdown. Only 1 in 7 want their elected leaders to stick to their guns, and even if that means a shutdown. But the problem is that beyond the politics of the situation, which I think will actually damage the GOP in the far term more than they will the Republicans, just more than the Democrats, just as we saw happen in 1995. But the problem is a government shutdown is a terribly inefficient, irresponsible, and unwise way to run a government. And in addition, a government shutdown would produce tremendous harm to those individuals who most need our help, including military families. So I think the fact that the Republicans are out there just repeating their talking points that the Democrats want to shut down is ludicrous, and I'm hopeful that we'll be able to avoid it. But if not, I think the GOP will suffer disproportionately.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you that on all fronts that it reeks of inefficiency. But, Joe, as we all just heard, speaking with Luke Russert there in his report about this major proposal that Paul Ryan is officially putting on the table, a budget resolution including over $6 trillion in cuts, major reforms to taxes, Medicare, Medicaid. This is really a bold move. But is this going to be something that unifies the Republican Party? How much support will this even get from GOP leadership?
I think it'll get a lot of support from GOP leadership because Republicans realize that we have to get our fiscal house in order. We can't spend money that we don't have, and unless you address the real challenges of entitlements, you're not going to be able to change it for our kids going forward.
Bernard, one big point, another big battle ahead, the debt ceiling. Secretary Geithner saying that the U.S. is going to reach the debt limit no later than May the 16th, and we could start defaulting on our debt. So how quickly does this need to be taken up, and will this be the toughest fight yet to come?
I think as soon as we get a budget deal, that is what we have to deal with. As terrible as our budget deficit is, the one thing that would be worse is if we started defaulting on our deficit. And the one thing I do agree with, Joe, is we have got to start dealing with entitlements. The American people are supportive of raising the retirement age on Social Security, of making cuts in defense. And I think that the one big elephant in the room that's going to come back is we have got to let the Bush tax cuts for the wealthy expire. That is a great way to begin bringing down our deficit and dealing with our long-term debt problem.
All right, gentlemen, thanks so much, Joe. Bernard, good to have you on today. We appreciate it.
Great to be with you, Thomas.
Thank you.